Hello, you lovely people. Welcome to What the Fuck Tuesday, hosted by moi, Deborah Cooper. What we do on this show is go over advice letters that have been submitted in advance. They're in this lovely document here. See my Vanna White movements here. And I read them to you, and then I give an answer right off the cuff. I hear the question for the first time when you hear the question. There's another person, my lovely cousin Candace, not Joy, the one I do videos with. This is a cousin on my dad's side, and she helps with the column. So she does the questions and screens them and puts them in order and picks the ones that I should answer. And so then I get on here and I answer them. So, hi everybody. I see all the usual suspects in the house, and my girl Shay the Light. Oh, we need to give her some theme music so that when she enters the chat room, it plays. But I'm glad to see all you guys. We have, according to what's on here, 25 questions. If you want to get your question read in one of the future columns, we have another show coming up on Friday. Look in the show description down below the video, just expand it and you'll see all the writing that's there. And there's a link that says, submit your advice question. Just click it, fill out the form, and your question will come to us for consideration for a future show, probably Friday or next Tuesday. You guys ready? Yeah, Shay need her a theme song. All right, let's go. Question number one. This is a female in 22 to 26 age group. She's from St. Paul, Minnesota. Recently, I've been learning more about emotional manipulation and gaslighting thanks to YouTube in an attempt to understand what's going on in my relationship. First of all, my partner and I fight badly about once a month, which he doesn't think is a lot, but I definitely do. I don't do well with conflict and feel like I'm always anxiously awaiting the next blowout. Second, I've noticed some patterns in his behavior that really frustrate me. If I bring up an issue in the calmest way possible, and if it's even remotely critical, he flips out. Every time I say something like, I've noticed this has been happening a lot lately, he makes me give him specific examples of what I'm talking about, even though we've had conversations about it before. And when I do give him specific examples, he just tells me it never happened. He used to call me crazy and delusional, but that's mostly stopped because he never admits to anything. We have the same fights over and over with no resolution. Whenever I'm excited about something and tell him about it, especially in regards to career prospects, he just responds negatively. For example, I've been considering culinary school, and when I told him about something related to it, he said, You could never be a chef, you boil chicken. Deb, this is embarrassing, but I did that years ago after 10 years of being a vegetarian, and I didn't know how to cook meat. Now I do, and he's always saying my cooking is really good, so it seems weird for him to say that. When I told him it hurt my feelings, he told me it was a joke and I take everything too personally. At this point, I'm starting to doubt we'll ever make progress as a couple. I would also like to note he promised to go to therapy with me a couple of years ago, went to 2 sessions, and now refuses. What do you think about this? Shall I give you the politically correct response or the real one? Now that I think about it, I'm not going to waste time with the politically correct one. I'm just going to give it to you for real. You stupid. You're stupid. You know why I say you're stupid? Because you have been messing with this for who knows how many years. Because you say you was going to therapy for a couple of years ago. So this means at least 3 or 4 years you've been messing with this dude with this drama going on. And you see he's not going to change. You see that he won't admit to anything. He doesn't want to work on anything to improve the situation because he just blames everything on you. You're right, and it took you so long to figure it out that you'll never make progress as a couple in this relationship. You'll never do anything positive in relationship. This relationship is like a dog chasing its tail. It's going around and around in circles. Is it making any forward progress? No. That's what you guys are doing. So I'm going to tell you, you got a dude here who's a narc. He's gaslighting you. He's, diverting responsibility and flipping it back on you. He's doing everything he can, along with, berating you, demeaning you, and your goals and your lifestyle and everything else. Every time he can get a dig in, it sounds like he does it when he knows it's going to really hurt you, and then dismisses your emotional pain by saying it was just a joke. Now, you guys sound like you got some really nice goals. You want to go to culinary school and stuff. Go, do that. Even if you don't end up making a great long-term career out of it, it's still something great to have in your repertoire. You will always be able to work. if you can hang out in a kitchen at a restaurant, you'll always be able to get some work. You can do catering, you can do all kind of stuff, okay? What you cannot do is change a man. And so the way that he is, that's just the way that he's going to be forever. If that's not going to be the way that you look into the future and see your life continuing on on this trajectory, then the time to dip out is now. Go to culinary school and find you somebody else. You probably meet some really nice dudes in your class. Yeah, this dude is just he's just toxic and stupid. And that's, so when you staying with this guy and trying to force something to happen here, like going to therapy and all this kind of stuff. You don't go to therapy when you're dating somebody. You just dip out. That's what dating's about, finding a good fit. You don't try to force the fit with therapy. That's for married couples that have a lot to lose, children's lives to destroy, parents, that they're taking care of or something. They have own property. I mean, they have built a life together and other people are involved in it. You're just dating. Okay, there's nothing to go to therapy for in a dating situation. You just chuck up the deuces and be out and on to the next one. Okay, that's what dating's about. That's what it means. I'm just like, soon as he tried to piss on my parade, I would be out. And I'd have to hurt his feelings and then just tell him, well, why are you mad? You get mad. It was just a joke. Why you getting mad? I'm going to flip that around on him. Let's move on to question number 2. This is a female in the 22 to 29 age group from San Jose, California. This guy I hooked up with said a comment that triggered me, and I want to get your take on it. We got together for a bite to eat, and he just couldn't stop complimenting me. We went to his place, and he came over right away and started kissing me. It felt so romantic and passionate. We were just admiring each other. But then he was like, "You're so beautiful. I never would want to abuse you." Oh, these dudes. Oh, okay. Did you catch that? He says to her on a hookup date, "You're so beautiful. I would never want to abuse you." Isn't that weird to say, she writes? Like, I've been severely abused, so it's a little bit of a trigger. But I don't know how to take this. And before you ask, no, I have not told him about my past abusive relationship. And she put that in all caps. He knows nothing about my past. We were just hooking up, no deep or revealing conversation. That's why it's weird. I got anxiety that's obvious from the outside, but that's it. In case it matters to your response, I am 24 and black, and he is 30 and white. He speaks perfectly good English too, born and raised right here in the U.S., so this isn't a language barrier, a confusion. Is this a red flag? I'd say so. See, my thing is this: if you say or do anything that I have to wonder what you mean and it causes me confusion, doubt, consternation, I just like befuddlement. I get flummoxed. Any of those kind of things start going on. They just other than clear, open, and concise communication. Anything I got to sit back and go like this and think about what you're doing and give you the side eye and stuff like that, I'm out. I'm just not gonna do it. I'm not gonna put myself in a position to find out what it means about what you mean about abusing me. I'm not gonna be there to find that out. I'm surprised you stayed. Because I would have been like, oh, really? That's really nice to know. Oh, my, look at the time. I must go and been out. And just like been out, just not even a part of what he's trying to say. So it's like if you were ugly or not, he didn't think you were beautiful, then he would be okay with abusing you. Isn't that what he's saying? I don't know, but I don't really know. I'm like you. I don't know how to take that. But like I said, the fact that I would be, sitting there like wondering what he meant and what he would do if he didn't consider me beautiful would be enough to push me out the door. So you good. Let's move on to question number 3. Ooh, what a weirdo. Female, 40 to 40. And before anybody says anything, the fact that he's white, that don't mean nothing. I guess it's interesting that she said it, but my answer would be the same if he was green with orange stripes. I don't care about that part. We're talking about his behavior. So let me put that in there before people start flying off the handle and misinterpreting what I said. Okay, question 3. Female, 40 to 45 from Annapolis, Maryland. Me and my close friend, and she put, quote, Roger, not his real name. So his name It's not Roger, but that's what we calling him in the letter. For 2 years, decided to try a dating slash friend with benefit for the past 6 months. Everything has been okay with the transition, but last night something made my blood boil. I was at his place and my car got towed. I was in the wrong and it wasn't a problem. I just needed to get my car back ASAP. When we found out, we were smoking and he said he was too high to drive me to the impound lot. I said, no problem, let's get an Uber. He was broke, so I bought the Uber. Again, no problem. I'm more financially stable and it was my fault that I was in this situation. You're right. Okay, so he shouldn't have to come out of pocket for that. That's true. But it was 11:30 at night, and even though I had visited this area often, I'm not familiar with it that even though I visit the area, I'm not familiar, especially at night. I asked him to go with me, but he refused. I was salty but tried to not show it. The first Uber couldn't find the tow lot and dropped me off in the city on a corner. Alone, half dressed, no car, no ride, and no idea where I was at. Wow. I would have reported that person. They could at least took you to some like, place where there was other people and stuff. I immediately arranged for another ride and called Dave. At that point, he offered to come and get me off the corner and would take me back to his place without my car. My Uber was closer, so I told him to stay home and sober up in case I needed help. The second Uber got me to car and everything was kosher getting it back to his place. When I woke up in the morning, I just couldn't shake off the feeling that he just didn't seem worried and would rather stay home smoking. Deb, I never asked him to pay or help pay. I just wanted a man there to make sure I was safe. I asked him to go with me, actually begged, and he played me off. Not that it matters, but I'm 40 years old, attractive, awaiting ortho surgery, so right now I can't walk more than 20 feet without stopping. And the city my car was in is in Baltimore. I live in Annapolis. Am I wrong to be in my feelings about this? Absolutely not. And that would be the end of any FWB and friendship. You just gonna leave me out there at night like that? Not saying it's your fault my car got towed, but I mean, you would think, I mean, even as a friend, like if I had a female friend, I would go with her because of the fact that, you know, it's two women can fight off something better than one by herself. So, and plus, I'd be packing. So, let's not get too jiggy. But, you're there by yourself. And this man, the Uber person just dropped you off on the corner and just like deuces and just leaves you on the street corner in Baltimore in the winter time because it's still cold. I'm like, hmm. And dude wasn't the least bit concerned. Didn't want to get up and do nothing. Just sit there and wait for the coochie to come back and get back in his bed. I hope you understand what the character is of this individual. Okay. This is somebody who just really does not give a shit about you. So I don't know. I have male friends, female friends, shit, even ex co-workers that I could call that would be you have my back in a situation like this. And this somebody you sleeping with? And this the best he could do? He wouldn't get shit out of me no more. I don't care if it is a FWB. There's certain boundaries and certain levels of respect and consideration and courtesy that you show the other person. And he didn't show you any of that. Wow. Yeah, a Baltimore Dusty. The worst kind, right up there with Chicago Dusties and Atlanta Dusties and Houston Dusties. And South Central LA Dusties, Richmond, California Dusties, and Oakland, California Dusties. I know about all of them kind of Dusties personally, and they ain't about nothing. Let's move on to question number 4. This is a male in the 40 to 46 age group from Memphis, Tennessee. What do you recommend I do when my hobby or passion is negatively seen by almost every woman that I've ever dated? Deb, my passion is bicycles. I have been cycling for 20 years now. I commute by bike, I race, I teach bicycle repair. I'm on my city cycling advisory group and a member of the biking trail building group. I own 12 different bikes, probably ride 200 to 300 miles a week in the summer, but far less in the winter. It's brought me community friends, fitness, activism, and nothing but positive things apart from the occasional injury. I have other interests in a full life, but this is my passion. I have a full-time non-bicycle job and I'm financially secure. I grew up in Southern California, which is how I learned to ride bikes everywhere, but now I live in a part of the country where cycling is a niche. Yeah, Memphis, okay. I turned 40 recently and I've always wanted a partner and a family. My friends all have young children who are learning to ride bikes. Seeing them have that experience makes me jealous. I haven't dated for over a year because of the pandemic, but now that it's spring, I really want to get out there and meet people again. Everyone talks about how they want someone who is passionate about something, but my passion has never done me any favors in my romantic life. At best, it's tolerated. At worst, it's weaponized against me. The phrases man child or grow up come up a lot, or my masculinity or mental health is attacked, especially during breakups. Wow, about a bicycle? Are you sure you want to stay in Memphis? I mean, maybe you should come back to California where that's kind of more normal. I've only had one serious girlfriend who seemed supportive of it, but when we broke up, she confessed that she'd been faking it the entire time to impress me, and she actually hated it. Mostly, I get negative feedback about it from people I date, long or short term, including fights about how dangerous what I do is. Best I seem to do with my sharing my passion is convince a date or girlfriend to go on a casual ride around town on a bike share bike, but anything beyond that is too much. I can't help feeling anxiety that if I'm going to have a romantic sense to be taken seriously, I need to give my passion up or at least replace it with something more adult. I know it limits my sex appeal for sure, but I'm not struggling to get dates. Maybe I'm not being realistic and thinking I can have a partner and family and still have this passion. It's often the butt of divorce jokes, but I don't think it's caused a relationship to end. But it's been a contributing factor in many of my relationships for sure. Hmm. I understand people see cycling negatively, but it's not for everyone. I'm just not sure what to do. Should I downplay it? I do get a lot of rejections when it comes up in app chats and also in person when they see my place with four bikes in the entryway. Maybe that's for the best, I guess, but it's still emotionally taxing to feel like the thing I love the most is the thing that's killing my chance at love, marriage, and family. I wonder sometimes if I'm crazy for hoping someone might find it attractive or positive that this is a big part of my life. No, dude, you just in the wrong thing. You in the wrong spot. I'm telling you. Um, well, he didn't say that he doesn't have a car, but he just bicycles to work. He didn't say he doesn't have a car, so let's not jump to conclusions, okay? Where you're putting things in there that he did not say. He said he likes his bike and he bikes to work, but you don't know. I mean, it might be easier to bike to work. I mean, where I was with the last place I was working, I wanted to bike to work. I would have done it, but you know what? I'm too lazy and too fat. And I don't feel like it. I like to get in my car and blast my music and go to work, in peace. So I can see, but I mean, where I worked was close enough that I could have rode a bike. Let me put it that way. It's like, I don't know, 3, 4 miles, 5 miles. I don't know, something like that. I could have rode a bike there in plenty of time. But I'm thinking that you are in such top physical condition that the women know that they can't keep up with you. They can't keep up with you. You need to find a woman who's into fitness. Now, she might not necessarily be into biking that much, but it would be, easier for her to accept your interest because that's her same interest, fitness, health, exercise. You know what I mean? So I'm going to make a suggestion. Why don't you find you a woman who is a personal trainer, an exercise physiologist, or a physical therapist? You want somebody who understands the importance of exercise and the benefits of it. Okay? So you look for a woman who's in that kind of career, and then she'll be right on that page with you. You know what I mean? So I don't know what kind of woman you like. I don't know what kind of woman you've been looking for. You didn't say any, you didn't give any, no tint of that at all. But I'm telling you, you in Memphis, okay, all along the South, it's really hard to find women who are really, really super serious into exercise and fitness. That's why when you look at all them charts and they talk about which states have the most overweight and obese people, it's always the southern states. And right where you are in Memphis is one of the top. So I'm going to tell you that, even if the person's not overweight, they probably don't have any muscle because they dieted all away. They dieted away all their lean mass. So you start going around to the fitness expos and stuff like that, and you check out the chicks that's there, and you start dating them. You'll be all right. You know, that's what you need. Somebody who's on your same who has the same vision of physical activity and exercise that you do. And that will eliminate 80% of this drama that you have it. The other 20%, whether you guys go bike riding or roller skating or I don't know, swimming or something, is still things you could do together. And I'm going to tell you too, as a personal trainer, you got to cross train. You need to do stuff for your upper body too. Lift weights for your shoulder, do core exercises, and make sure you do exercises for your back, okay, to strengthen your back too. And because biking is all lower body, so make sure you take care of that. Your hips, your back, your core. Do some chest work, some dumbbell flies and dumbbell presses, bench presses, that kind of stuff, and shoulder work to keep your upper body developed, so you don't have that little tiny narrow upper body, and then a you know an active, um, very strong and bulked up lower body. So that's going to be my look at this YouTube messing me up again. Why does it keep doing that? It's driving me crazy. Anyway, I'm going to pretend like it's not happening and I'm going to just keep on going. Let's move on for question number 5. This is a female in the 26 to 29 age group from Victorville. No, that I just said that. I don't know if you guys got to hear it. YouTube is messing up again, which it seems to do on all of my shows lately. So it's, the video is buffering and acting stupid. Just bear with it. I'm going to still keep talking. I don't know what it's going to end up doing. Female 26 to 29 from Victorville, California. Hi, Deb and crew. I'm a 28-year-old woman who got back with my ex about 2 months ago. Honestly, I kind of resented him for not being an honest man and just trifling when last gave it a go. He was a big partier and did all this nonsense behind my back. So anyway, last weekend I cheated on him with not one but two men in the same weekend, but not the same night. I guess it was just my resentment boiling from being loyal to a cheater all those years, and of course the temptation of being attracted to said men, plus being able to live out my fantasy and experience other attractive men like that. It was fun, and they were way better than my ex. Excuse the TMI, but it's relevant to how I feel. So now I don't know how to tell my boyfriend what I did, and then I'm having second thoughts on our getting back together. He's worked hard to prove his loyalty and devotion to me, but it all feels too little too late now. Girl, first of all, you must have not been around here long enough to understand. You don't never go backwards. Once you get away from shit, you don't go turn around and go back to it. What's wrong with you? He cheated, he lied, he did all kind of stuff. That's nobody you give a second chance to. You ignore him. You put him on what I call nignore. Okay? Ignoring a nignog. That's what you do. Ignore. You do not go back to the same hot mess. And your brain and your body knows this, but I'm not sure what level you was thinking that was okay to do. You made a gross error. Okay? So you don't tell him that's what you did. What is wrong with you? That's also on this channel. Keep your mouth closed. What you do is your business. You ain't married to him. You don't owe him no explanation. Did he give you any when he was busy dipping out on you? Think about that. You don't say shit to him about what you did this weekend. That's your business. You done told us, but that's the only people you tell. What you tell him is, you've given this a lot of thought and it just doesn't feel the same. And you're not interested like you thought you would be. And you want to break up for real, for permanently this time. And thanks for trying and all that. And then you just, move on with your life. First of all, then you've done found out he can't even fuck. And then you've been thinking you're going to go back to a relationship for that. See, that's why women should always have more than one man in their life, because you don't know till you get rid of that one. And I'm telling you, everyone, the next one, and you thought them two was good, girl, wait till the next one. You're going to be like, girl, I saw Jesus. And then after that, it's like, ooh, I went up, I think I went to heaven and saw some angels singing and harps playing and all of that. Dude was just phenomenal. You see what I mean? It's like, as they get older and you get older, you know your body better. They know your body better. They know their body better. They know the moves better. And it just gets better. So there's no reason to be stuck with some clown who cheats on you and lies to you and who can't even fuck. That's a trifecta of fail. Get out of here. Girl, you better not tell nobody that. If you tell him that, you're being stupid. Okay? And you done heard it straight from me. You don't tell men stuff like that. It don't matter. It's not going to change nothing. You just tell them it's not working and you leave all them details out. That's nothing you need to ever say to him ever. or no to no other man either. Oh, my last boyfriend, I cheated on him and I found out that I could get you keep your mouth shut. Okay? Y'all be talking too much. I'm just saying. Now they be just saying too much, to giving me way too much information. All you need to tell him is it's too little, too late, and it just doesn't feel the same, and you just can't get over it. His you flip it on him, make it his fault. I can't get over all them lies you told me on the cheating you did and stuff. All I can do is think about it, and that's just hurting me over and over just to be looking at you, and I can't do it. I can't do it. Get out, get out, get out. Just be dramatic, but to keep your fucking mouth closed. I'm telling you, don't you say shit to him about these other men or any other man. It's not his business. And if he asks you about, did you have anybody else? Say no. I'm just with you, but it was just true. Because you're not with them other dudes. That was just a hit and quit it situation. So it's not like you would be lying. You just be, leaving out extraneous details that he doesn't need to know. Because he ain't your man. Question number 6. This is a male, 30 to 36, and it says 2 different states. What? My younger sister and her roommate are both 24. They've been approached by a man in their apartment complex. One time he was watching one of them take the dog out and the other one was at home. He knocked on the door and offered to take their garbage out. Yeah, right. The second time was when her roommate came back from taking the dog out and didn't lock the door. And he just walked out of their apartment. They called the police and made a report and are going to try to break their lease as this guy lives a floor above them. They're in Savannah, Georgia, and I'm up in the D.C. area. I'm just wondering if there's any ideas on how I can help them. I think I know the right advices to give and have pepper spray, but they also not staying at their place tonight. I think I have most bases covered, but I just feel helpless since I'm so far away. Any advice on what to say to them or suggestions as to any personal protection devices would be much appreciated. Thanks for all you do there. First of all, why are they calling you and not the property management? Because this has to be a violation of some part of the lease. Okay, I mean, it's nice that you know and you're trying to help and all that, don't get me wrong. But their first avenue of recourse here is to talk to the people that own the building and to tell them what he did and how they don't feel safe living there anymore. And that is an instant way to get out of the lease without the least bit of drama. Say somebody coming in actually in your house, like laying in wait for you, or he could have planted a camera in their house somewhere. You know what I mean? So he could very well be spying on them while they're changing clothes or toileting and showering and all kind of stuff. They don't know. See, that's where immediately where my mind went. Why you need to be in their house? And he's showing too much interest in them. So that would be my first thing. I'd get the police over there to look for a hidden camera somewhere. But the main thing is they need to move and they need to at that point get a PO box and any communication they have with this company or where their mail's going to be forwarded and all that kind of stuff will need to go to that post office box and then they can get their mail from there. Sometimes you can get, have that mail at that post office box forwarded to another post office box. So you got 2 forwardings going on, but one is manual and one is through the postal service. And, it costs money, but if they're really scared of this guy and they think he's going to be trying to stalk them or something, it might be worth the extra, I don't know, $30, $40 a month for a while till, he fixates on somebody else. But, you're talking about pepper spray and all this kind of stuff. I mean, that's great. That's great, but he would have to be too close to them for that, and that's too late. What I want you to tell them to do is go and immediately, they got a police report, and they take that police report to the leasing company, and the leasing company will then say, we want to break the lease because of this, and we'll be out by the end of the month, and then, put all these other things in place and be up and out of there. Okay? That's the important part. That's the important part. I'm not one for 2 scared young girls to be trying to tangle with somebody like this. They don't have the savvy, I can tell, because they didn't know what to do. And you already got somebody acting stupid like that. Why would you even leave your apartment and leave the door unlocked? See, that just shows they don't have the kind of street smarts that they would need to tangle with this dude. They need to be up out of there, and you need to educate them on stuff like that. You don't never leave your house with locking your door, ever. Never do that. Okay? Never. You never do that. Not as a woman, because you don't know who's going to be slide up in there, and they move fast. Okay, so you think, oh, I'm gonna just grab my clothes out the dryer downstairs. It's just one flight, it's one store, no, one floor down. It's no big deal. And they standing there waiting in the dark and wait for you to leave out. They see you don't lock the door. They jump as soon as you turn that corner. They run in your house and hide and wait for you to get back. That's why you don't never do that. You always lock your door. It's gonna take you 10 seconds. Yeah, but he gonna go. Yeah, he gonna look through the garbage and find information about them. Because most people don't use paper shredders; they just throw shit away. So then he would know their full names, date of births, and who knows what else. Somebody's menstrual cycle. I mean, he would have all kind of information on them that he does not need to have. This guy is scary, but they need to get up out of there quick. Question number 7, female 40 to 46 from London. What do you think I should expect to have happen after a man's been fired for extremely disrespectful and vulgar bullying directed at me? Deb, I'm a female senior executive who was the victim of an extremely vulgar verbal assault last week in a virtual meeting of 15 people. The guy thought he was on mute. I'm worried about the ramifications since he was fired because of it and has been with the company 10 plus years. I greatly respect my CEO for doing the right thing. However, I can't help but worry about the fallout. Any suggestions on what to expect and feel or do? Why do you feel like there's going to be fallout? You didn't do anything wrong. So what are you worried about? What you think he going to come up in there and start shooting or something? If that's the case, they'll get you a gun and bring it with you. And he shoots, you shoot back. I mean, if you that scared of that, I don't know what kind of security you guys have, but I'm sure if he's got fired, the security team is on alert to look for him so he can't come up on the premises and come in the building because he was fired. And they usually are very alert for stuff like that. If he thought that he was on mute and he did something like that, um, that's an embarrassment to the company. That's a kind of a lawsuit waiting to happen in order to mitigate any potential damages for discrimination, racial harassment, sexual harassment, or anything like that. A savvy manager would do exactly what your manager did and dip him out of there, like quickly get out because you are liability, a risk. So that's why they got rid of him because they didn't want to get sued. So for you, I would not you well, I don't understand what you worried about. What you think is going to happen to you. He was the one who did something wrong. It wasn't you. Now, there may be some people who feel some kind of way about it, but all you have to do is tell them if you have any feelings about that situation, you need to take it up with the CEO who's the one who made the decision about how to handle it. Direct them to that person, your CEO. Okay? That's all you got to do. I don't know. Because most likely, if it was me, we both would have got fired because he become every kind of motherfucker I could have thought of. And I wouldn't have tried to be on mute. So it would have been like, what? Who you think you talking to, honky? Okay, and then it would have went downhill from there. So, it's just like, then the CEO would have been like, oh my God, I have to fire both of you. And I've been like, Kanye shrug. That's all right. But one thing I'm not going to do is let somebody talk to me crazy. And I won't say nothing back. But you probably were so stunned, and then you're a female senior executive. I've never risen that high on the food chain, so I'm usually at that level that's disposable, and so it's mutually disposable. So I say what the fuck I want to say, and then I bounce. Yeah, me too, Drea. But I was several times, so I know what it feels like. I'm not too bothered about it. Just like you get that job, you got another one. Question number 8, male, 30 to 36 from Seattle, Washington. So I met this woman for drinks, and we spent about 2 hours together without masks and in close proximity at the table. From what I recall, the bar checked our temperatures at the door. Things seemed to go well on the date. I asked her for a second date by phone and suggested I cooked her dinner. She agreed. She's vegan, so I picked out a vegan recipe from the book How Not to Die. Ran the recipes by her, all was good. We went grocery shopping and prepared a pretty delicious salad we both enjoyed. We were in her apartment for another 2 hours. Then the subject of coronavirus came up. She is a teacher and had already been vaccinated. I'm not a teacher and I have not. I told her that everywhere I go, I wear 2 masks and take the pandemic guidelines seriously. When I mentioned the not being vaccinated part, she gave me a look of horror and then she said to me, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. She didn't even have the decency or class to walk me to the front door. Instead, she sat at her bar table as I packed my things, took my jacket off her hallway coat hanger, and left her apartment. On my way out, I told her, if you cared this much about vaccination, you shouldn't have assumed that I had one. I'm still floored. It was incredibly strange. Okay, so what's the question? You want me to agree with you that it was incredibly strange that she spent all them hours with you and just now, especially then the second date, 2 hours later, she finally decides to ask you about a shot that doesn't prevent you from getting anything and it don't cure it either? I don't understand why everybody's so in the uproar about these damn shots. They tell you right on there it don't won't prevent you from getting coronavirus. They do not guarantee that. If you have it, it won't cure it. So I'm like, why is everybody getting this shot? What you should be doing is that money and time and energy you're spending on that shot, you should be eating fresh fruits and vegetables and getting out in the sun, making sure you have enough vitamin D, and eating stuff, citrus fruits and stuff with vitamin C so that your immune system stays up. Drinking ginger and garlic tea if you feel a scratchy throat. Stuff like that. You know? So the fact that, she has this mentality, I mean, they tell you right there, it's like this will not cure COVID. This will not prevent you from getting COVID. They do not guarantee that. It says it all over all the materials about these shots. So everybody's looking at this as like some kind of thing where, they are turning into this like some kind of force field against COVID or something. And it's not. So I'm like, they ain't experimenting on me. I'm not getting that shit. And I know some people are like, oh, they want to make you get it. I'm like, good luck with that. I'm telling you, Luda, good teacher. I don't know. This is just really amazing. But it sounds to me, dude, like you escaped a nutcase and you should probably be counting your blessings. I know it's flew you for a loop and you trying to still figure out what happened. But just trust me, she was a Looney Tune and you got away from her, so you all right. Just chalk it up to experience and a great dating story that you could tell to people now. Question number 9, female 22 to 29 from Jacksonville, Florida. For the purpose of this story, let's call me Amy. 4 years ago, he's not even an ex to begin with. We just hung out for less than a week and did some things. I was barely 18, he was 10 years older. I decided I did not want to do any further, so I told him that, but then he would not stop texting me afterwards. He texted back for one day and then, seeing he's not going to stop, I blocked his number. After that, I also made sure to block him on other social media platforms as well. Eventually, I deleted all of my social media accounts because I don't like my information being online anyway. Today, a no caller ID was calling me, and I do know someone close to me who uses that, so I thought it was my friend. I regret picking up because it was someone saying they were a friend of my ex, and they asked if I would be down to meet up with him. Literally, my heart was beating fast and I froze out of shock and had so much anxiety in the moment, I felt scared. I did not tell her that she was speaking to Amy and instead told her I would let Amy know she called. She then asked me where was Amy and I told her she was not here. I do not know if she brought it because afterwards she texted me that my ex wanted to know if I blocked his number and if I would be willing to unblock him. I did not reply. Since I could not block no caller ID, but now I had the number, I blocked her as well. I did not sleep well either. Anyways, now I cannot help but think that he might have been listening to the call and that he still has my phone number after all these years. I don't have his. And I'm also scared he would try to contact me through his friends again. When we first met, I gave him a misspelling of my name on purpose, so I know he cannot find me online, but still I am minimizing my info online. Okay, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to change my number so you cannot contact me anymore, but I just want to make sure. Is that enough? Like, I do not want to leave a trail at all. Well, too bad you when he was trying to, text you and all that stuff and he was blocking you. Um, that was, that's a good first step. But if you have somebody who's persistent, you should always change your number. So this thing here with this girl, that's good you blocked the number, but you're right, it's time to change it. Um, And there's really nothing else you can do. I mean, it's not like he's, coming to your job or anything like that. I mean, he's, there's nothing here to get like warrant like a restraining order or anything like that, if that's what you're thinking. So the best approach for you to do is just change your number and get you a Google phone number. Okay. Get you a Google phone number and start giving that number out to people that you meet. Like if you're going to be dating and stuff, give the guys that number. Don't give them your real cell phone number. Don't give people your real cell phone number anymore. Okay. Question number 10. This is a female in the 50 to 56 age group from the UK. I'm intrigued more than anything, but I want to get your thoughts. My husband of 25 years had an affair, got the lady pregnant, and got married within the year. Deb, we have children together who are now in their 20s. He now has toddlers and is 55 years old. Oh, Grandpa. I've noticed that a few of our friends are in the same scenario. Husband has an affair with younger woman, gets her pregnant, and marries immediately. The ex-wives, on the other hand, seem joyously happy on their own. They lose weight, they pursue hobbies they enjoy, hang out with friends, travel when they can, take up the gym and yoga, and enjoy not having to wake up to a grumpy man every morning or cook and clean up after him. Do you think men just need to be needed? I can't for one moment imagine that my ex thought he'd be changing nappies again at 55. Well, that must be what he wanted. And I don't know about the feeling needed part. I think it's more that by okay, they look in the mirror, right? And they see gray hair and wrinkles and stuff, and then they look at you and they see the same thing and they say, "Oh my God, she's old. That means I'm old too." So then they want to get a younger woman, right? So when they look at her, they say, "Oh, she's young. That makes me young too." You see what I'm going with this? Not thinking, okay, I'm an old buzzard preying on a young woman, sucking her life up to breed for me, because that's what's really going on. I already have children. These kids that he has could be his grandkids. They could be his adult children's children. And he could be their grandfather. Instead, they're his. He's got 20-year-olds, and now they got 20 somethings with toddlers, half siblings. Yeah, they just don't like getting old. They just don't like it. But I don't know. You nice, because I think I would have to. I would have to be fucking with him and say, "What's going on, Grandpa? How many? Oh, I forgot that's not their grandchildren. Those are your kids. What in the world was you thinking? You old fart, you old buzzard. How does it feel when they try to jump on you and stuff, and you feel you fall down, and now you scared you might break something, whereas before you would just roll around with them on the floor. You old bat." I'd say all kind of crazy stuff to him, because that's just ridiculous. They're toddlers, so by the time they graduate from high school, he gonna be collecting a Social Security check. Oh, this makes no sense at all. And then by the time they try to graduate college, his ass gonna already be pushing up daisies. So he not gonna get to see, he can walk nobody down the aisle, nothing like that, cause his ass is too old. And it's gonna look like he wheeling down there in his hovercraft, jetting down there in that little machine, that little buggy thing that they mash like it's a little go-kart. And he gonna be wheeling the bride down the aisle on his hover round. That is so tacky, you old fart. He shouldn't have been having no no kid at that age. If I was, that was my daddy trying to do some stuff like that, I would just ban him from my wedding. You can't come because you an embarrassment, you old fool. What was you thinking? Trying to walk me down the aisle and you got to ride on a buggy. That shit would get on my nerves. No. Oh. So anyway, lady, I went all off on a tangent, but I would be picking up the phone and I would be calling him every so often just to rub it in. Wow, look how free and fun my life is. And what are you doing over there changing shitty diapers and worrying about rashes? Wow. And then I'd hang up. Question number 11, female 30 to 36 from North Carolina. Hi, Deb. I'm hoping you can lend me some of your legal savvy for this one. I work from home in a position I was told is expected to remain remote. I have no face-to-face interaction with the public or my coworkers at all. During a recent conference call, the company announced that employees are, quote, encouraged and expected to get the COVID vaccine. They didn't outright say it was mandatory. It's more voluntary for the moment. So after some researching, I found that companies are indeed legally allowed to effectively force their workers to get the vax to keep their jobs, save for medical/religious reasons. I have my suspicions about getting the vaccine, ranging from the common concerns shared by many skeptics, rushed rollout, no FDA approval yet, manufacturer immunity from liability, etc., to a few that border on being tinfoil hat. If it matters, informing your opinion, I've never been tested for it, but I'm pretty positive I and my family caught it in December of 2019. We were the sickest we've ever been in our lives. We all recovered successfully on our own and have felt fine ever since. I also haven't had any vaccines since middle school, and I'm relatively healthy. Anyway, I do not want to get the jab. It's to the point where I'm seriously considering filing for the religion exemption of my work wants to make it mandatory. I did some research on the religious belief exemption. If what I've read is correct, this basically comes down to me having to prove that my belief is sincere. Should my employers have the ball to question me? I'm not fluent in legalese, but how would my sincere belief even be tested? My belief is similar to yours, if you get my drift. If I recall correctly, you mentioned a while back that you pulled something like this off at work about holidays, I think. But then I'm also in a right to work state, so even if I get the exemption, they could turn around and fire me for some bullshit anyway. Then the burden is on me to prove I was terminated illegally. Religious exemption be damned. So my questions are, what's your opinion on pretty much doing the same for the COVID vaccine? How do you feel about the legality surrounding the mandated vaccine controversy? Got any tips for me? Can't wait to hear your thoughts, even if you just want to read me for filth and call me a stupid two-bit piece of shit ass mofo for not wanting to jab. I wouldn't do that. Oh my God. Thanks for your time and everything you do. Flummox Friday has been a real treat. Well, I'm going to say this. Um, I think the only ones who really are pushing that the most are the people who have direct contact with patients, like, nurses and doctors, people that work in hospitals around these people that, have this disease. That might be helpful for them. I don't know, but because everything I'm saying, reading, like I'm saying, it doesn't prevent you from getting it. So what's the point then? I mean, shouldn't they be doing something like help people boost their immune system or something so that they can fight it off themselves like any other virus? So I'm not really sure, but if you want to try the religious exemption, study up on the Church of, what is it, Scientology, Church of Scientology, and read up on all that stuff. They are the only ones that I know for sure. That religious belief doesn't believe in any kind of inoculations or a Western medicine or any. I mean, they believe in prayer. Like, you pray away any kind of disease that you have, which is also rather novel. But if they've never seen you take any medication or heard you talk about it, you might be able to pull it off. You know what I mean? But then study up on it. And then when you fill out your paperwork for your religious exemption, that's what you're going to put on there on the paper. But you got to be prepared to answer the questions. It's like, oh no, my family, we pray and we use poultices and, things of, tinctures that we make from onions. And so, I don't know what you're going to say. But whatever it is, you better put on an Academy Award-winning performance if you want to keep your job. But if they decide that they're going to try to push you into it and force you to do it and then terminate you, you also have a very strong argument in that you work remotely and that you aren't even around anybody, so there's no reason for them to have this kind of alarm about you getting it, over and above your religious exemption. So even if you did get terminated, and that was their quote reason, I think you'd have a very strong case. So, you know Jehovah Witnesses don't get inoculations either. Learn something new. I just know about the church Scientology people, so that's what I would do. Minimizes symptom severity. Okay, but you still get it. You know. So I don't know, but anyway, yeah, just go and look on what is it, Christian Science .com, I think it is .org, something like that. Christian Science dot whatever org com net whatever, and read up on the religion and find where there's one in your area, And so you can have the address and everything when you fill out your paperwork, but why you ain't getting that jab. Question number 12, female, 22 to 26 from Wellington, New Zealand. What are your tips to avoid panic answering questions from questionable strangers? Panic answering. As a young woman in my early 20s, I have been approached by men in public perhaps 3 or 4 times, which I think counts as a pretty rare occurrence. I also do not really date, so in general, I don't talk to guys often other than friends. Coupled with my social anxiety, though, whenever this happens, I panic and have trouble setting boundaries for questions that I should and should not answer. For example, just a few days ago, I was approached by a man in an enclosed space, and he started flirting, which I'm not used to. Enclosed space, like you couldn't get out. But then he asked some strange questions about whether I live with my parents, and common sense is to obviously not answer or lie, but I was so caught off guard and just told him no, I live alone, which is the stupidest possible answer. Yes, it is. I'm still a bit shaken from my stupidity and really would like to avoid panic answering personal questions in the future and establish some kind of boundaries with men. Do you have any advice on this yet? Thank you. Yes, I do. First of all, why do you feel the need to answer their questions at all? Why do you panic answer or any other kind of answer? Somebody asks you, do you live with your parents? All you have to say is, that's none of your business. Who I live with is none of your concern. Okay, and you can use that answer for everything. Like, people wonder, well, how old are you? How old I am is none of your concern. Well, where do you live? Where I live is none of your concern. Well, where do you work? Where I work is none of your concern. Do you have any kids? Whether I have children or not is not your concern. You see where I'm going with this? You just, that one response is like a multi-purpose one that works for everything, and it shuts people down because they know that they're not going to have, they're not going to get no information out of you. My favorite, like they ask me stuff like that, I like to flip it back on them and say, well, why would you need to know that? That's what I like to say. Oh, well, how old are you? Why do you need to know that? Well, because I just want to know. Oh, says Deborah, as I look around and, you know, start looking at other things on the ground and in the sky and flying by and stuff that's far more interesting than what they're talking about. So, yeah. Yeah, Nunya's a good one. But if you're in a professional adult setting, you can't say Nunya. But I say that to my, my casual friends and family members. Throw out Nunya in a minute. But I would always say, shut up, Sharisha. Sharisha she say, your mama. You know, that's good for some things. But in a case like this, she's talking to strangers, But, you just flip it back on them and make them feel stupid. So those are your two go-to answers. You need to practice them. Why would you need to know that? Okay, is one. Or what I blank is none of your concern. Okay, that's a solid and firm boundary of no. You ain't getting nothing else out of me. So you practice those two. You should be all right. Question number 13, female, 22 to 29 from Toledo, Ohio. I'm 23 and I've been single for a while now. I have a 6-year-old son. Me and his dad haven't been together since before my son was born, but that's a different story. I'm trying to enter the new age of online dating. Ugh, why? I read an article about how it's probably best not to put your profile that you have kids because it can cause unwanted people to try to get to know you and get in contact with your child or be around your child. So I do not put on my dating profiles that I have a child. My question is, what is the best way to bring it up in conversation, or just best way to let a potential date know that you have a child? You don't let a potential date know that you have a child, and you don't need to bring it up in conversation until they ask you. This is how this is going to go. Okay, because you don't want to be one of them women that's always running off at the mouth, giving information. Okay, you don't do that. And it's very smart not to put in your profile because that's what, the predators look for. Is people who are naive and stupid, and some of the people who want to put pictures of their kids up. So the people are like, oh, that's my exact target kind of kid that I like. And the women are just so oblivious to what's going on. So no, you don't put that in the ad. That's very smart. Nor do you lead with that. So if someone, you talking to somebody in this first time or two, right? And they say, oh, well, do you have any children? Well, why would you need to know that? Because right now, I'm talking to you, trying to figure out, what's going on with you, and I would like you to do that, figure out what's going on with me, because what else we got going on? Dogs, cats, parrots, parakeets, or children is irrelevant, because if I don't like you, then what's going on at other parts of our lives is not gonna matter. So let's talk about what's important, which is you, and I'll talk about me. And so then now they'll be like, oh, yeah, they do. But men do that because they want to attract women who, they want to look like they're normal and that they have some kind of family value, so to put women at ease. But my thing is, I don't care what you got, because you putting your kids and all that shit all on the profile. I don't want to be no parts of you. I don't want to be bothered with little kids. I got invited to a birthday party. My cousin's, well, she's hosting, her daughter's little boy is having a birthday party, and it's gonna be at her house. As the grandmother, I guess that happens sometimes. And so it's Mother's Day weekend. I was gonna go visit her, and we was gonna make a video and all this old stuff. And then that's my cousin Joy. And then she said, "Oh, we're having a birthday party," and I immediately, that thought bubble popped up. Because the last birthday party I went to was last year, for the year before something, and the little kid was turning 4, and I could not wait to get out of there. I could not wait to get out of there. So these kids are going to be like 5 and 6 and 7, so a little older. That kid was turning 4. But I'm still like, because the bigger they get, the more noise they make, because they run around more than the little ones. So I'm like, I don't know. I can feel the sickness coming on, and it's going to be the sickness that's going to keep me at home. So, with you, I'm just gonna say, if you go on a couple of dates with somebody and then you want to talk about your kids, well, then that would be an appropriate time. The first conversation, even the second conversation, I don't personally don't think is appropriate to start bringing all that out, because you don't know what this person's real interest is, and if they're gonna amp it up just because they can get around your kid. And don't think that just because you have a boy that it's gonna be any safer. I personally, because I just got so freaked out. This one time, I didn't tell this man. I met a man at a business venture. I've told you guys the story before, at a networking breakfast for the Oakland Black Business Association thing. And I met this guy there. We exchanged business cards and stuff. And my business card, had my home number on it. And so I, was talking to him. He had called. And, we were just chit chatting, and he happened to hear my daughter in the background. She mommy something. And he was just talking regular, right? Until when he heard her voice, his voice perked all kinds of up. And he was like, oh, and got like animated and shit. And so that immediately caught my attention, right? I'm looking at the phone, like, wait, this tone of voice done changed. His energy got changed, and I picked up on it immediately. And so then he's like, oh, you have a child? And I'm like, yes. Yeah, I'm glad you do, Michelle, 'cause I'll never forget this shit as long as I live. It's my first and last time having somebody like this cross into my life. And so then he's like, "Oh, you have a child?" He said, "A boy or a girl?" So now, okay, now my spidey senses are ringing. See, now the me that I am now would have hung up and blocked him, or just on this, because my spidey senses were tingling. Now, I was a lot younger then, and not as jaded. And so I'm like, I said, "It's a girl," and I'm like, "Why?" Oh, well, how old is she? That's when I said, why? I said, why? And he's like, oh, well, she sounds like young, like she still needs a sitter. So, if you need a sitter, you want to go out with your friends and you need someone to watch her. I'll watch her. Now, I just met that man this morning at the Chamber of Commerce breakfast. Okay. I just met him that day. But he already trying to angle around where I'm gonna leave my little girl with him. Uh, Huh? Who would do such a thing? I cussed that motherfucker out. And I threatened him, and I told him, "And don't let me see you at the next Chamber of Commerce meeting either. I don't want to see you at none of them. Because if I do, I'm going to get on that microphone. I'm going to tell everybody what kind of pedophile freak you are. I didn't mean anything. Yes, you did. I'm not stupid. I know what your conversation's all about, motherfucker." And I told him all about himself. So I'm just saying that to you because I want you to understand how slick these guys are and how they tune in about kids. So you leave your little boy out of the conversation until you know what's going on with this man. Okay? Don't you even bring his name up. Don't you show no pictures. Don't you talk about a babysitter. You handle your business so that anything, everything that you do is separate away from him, and you shield and protect him. Okay? What you do in your dating life don't have shit to do with your son. And don't bring him into it. Don't mix the two. Don't bring no motherfuckers up in your house. Don't you take him over to nobody's house. Nothing. Okay? You do that. You protect him. Because I heard some vicious stories about what happened to little boys too. I'm not going to talk about them that right now, but this particular dude was like just fresh out of prison, and the little boy was the same age as yours, 6. So you put two and two together, I'm sure you could figure it out. Question number 14, male 26 to 29 from Southern California. Please forgive any mistakes or typos because English is not my first language. My family is from Taipei. Please also forgive the messy formatting as I have difficulty concentrating on anything recently. I'm 29 years old, turning 30 less than a month. I've been wanting a girlfriend since I was about 12 years old, but never became close to it. I keep seeing all my cousins and high school friends and college friends getting married and having children. I wonder, what do they have that I don't? People always say to me, "You're still young. Don't worry about it." They've been telling me this for the 15 years, and I fear I have to hear this kind of platitudes for the next 15. I only want to be loved and get married and have a family, the same thing that many people take for granted. However, I'm not the stereotype of the 30-year-old virgin that some parts of the internet love to portray. I shower every day, I shave my beard every few days, I dress well, and I have a healthy weight. In fact, I lost about 60 pounds a few years ago and work out regularly to stay healthy and look cut. I have a PhD in engineering and work in the automotive industry and love my job. However, working my whole life seems pointless if I never have a loving family to provide for. Oh my God, I want to cry for you. Over my life, I've only had 2 first dates. The first one was 10 years ago, but it was very awkward, and I would not even consider it a date. I met the girl from a mutual friend on Messenger. We went to the cinema. She saw her ex and invited him to watch the movie with us. He actually sat between the two of us, and the whole movie felt very awkward. I like to forget about that. The second date was 5 years ago. I matched with this girl on Tinder, and she was the only one I ever matched with that would make any effort to talk to me and answer my messages with more than 3 words. She was actually very smart and kind. We talked for several months until I invited her for a date. We walked in a park for a while and ate in a restaurant. I felt very happy and like we had similar interests. When I came home, I cried of happiness because I thought my eternal loneliness was over. But after the date, she completely blocked me from everywhere. I don't understand why. I didn't do or say anything inappropriate. I just talked with her in an absolutely friendly way. It took me a while to get over that rejection. Other than these two, I never had any success either online or in real life. What can I do to change my life? I need you to send me a picture. No, I need a couple of pictures. I need a picture of your face and I need a whole body shot. Email that to me so I can take a look at what you're working with. And then I can make some better suggestions for how you could change stuff to be more attractive to women. Okay, you in Southern California. Do you have an earring? You have an earring? How you wearing your hair? What's that grill look like? Do you wear glasses? You have contacts? I have so many questions. There's so many things that you could do to to kind of promote yourself physically. Sounds like you got the body part working because you lost weight and you work out. Okay, good thing. How do you dress? What's your posture like? I mean, I need to see things in order to better assess what's going on with you and to make some recommendations for what you might change. But a lot of this, if you're coming across, women need confidence. And if you're coming across as unsure of yourself and insecure and, worried that they're going to reject you and all this kind of stuff, you would be transmitting that energy of fear and insecurity on the date. And since women don't like that, we don't find that the least bit sexy, that could be a very strong reason why you're getting rejected. So, like I said, I need to start though by seeing what you look like. And if it's something that I think we can work with, I will reach out to you and we can set up some private consult sessions. We could do some couple of 30-minute things or something and pick you out some clothes, pick you out a new haircut, get you some contacts, work on some exercise to correct your posture if that's necessary, and then work on your conversation. And I don't know, I should be able to do that in about 5 or 6 sessions, and then we can turn you loose and you can go out there and do what you need to do with the confidence that you have been coached by the best. Okay. And then you'll get this family and everything that you want. And I think these are very admirable goals. I like to see a young man who's serious about his life, not trying to just flit around and do stupid shit with it. Yes, thank you, mommy, Money. Um, you, you know, you should have this, and I'm sure there'll be some young lady just thrilled. But we got to get you in position you in a way that's going to catch her eye. Okay, let's move on to question number 15. Female, 22 to 29 from Kalamazoo, Michigan. I have what Deb would do question about how to best handle my toxic sister-in-law. Uh-oh, what would Deb do? First, we were, quote, friends for years before she met, then married my husband's brother. She is hot and cold to me. She would be my very best friend and then all of a sudden not speak to me for weeks or months and has gotten upset with me over small misunderstandings. I noticed a pattern. She appears as my best friend and then a few days to a week later will ask me for money or some sort of favor. The last time she didn't speak to me for over 2 months. She recently became my bestie again, talking to me every day, wanting to hang out, etc. Then she asked me to help her pay her phone bill a few days later. Wait a minute, is she married to the husband's brother? Why is she asking you for money? While with my new husband around her sister, she suddenly started becoming cold to me again. Literally mocked me and was just a completely not nice person. I ended up crying myself to sleep that night. I had been through a lot lately and really thought she cared about me. You too soft. Supposedly this was all in good fun, but we do not have a relationship like this. It was downright rude and mean behavior. Then she didn't speak again for a few days until she wanted a ride 2 hours out of my way. Would actually end up being 4 hours total. I have tried to distance myself and just stop talking to her. I do not want to cause problems within the family. How would you handle this toxic situation without causing World War III within my husband's family? I just want her to leave me alone and I'll leave her alone. I'll be civil and polite, but refuse to be used and discarded over and over. Now she's texting, calling, and all is well. I've been dodging calls and treating her the way she has treated me. Basically, I just want distance and peace. Will you fucking grow some ovaries? This is some bullshit. You a grown ass woman. You running from this bitch like a little scared kitten or something. You better stand up to this bitch and you better tell her about herself. But she's sitting up there trying to mock me and something. I'm like, what are you 5? You get off on trying to mock people and stuff for attention? You think that's a way for everybody to think you're a big shit here? At this whatever this event was where she was doing all this, you look stupid and you look low caste and you act like you have some intelligence. You would need to act like you have some intelligence so somebody could respect you. Right now you look like a fool. It's embarrassing that you even related to me by marriage. Something like that. Whatever you want to do, just tell her about herself. The fair weather friend bitch sitting up there every time you want something from somebody, you everybody's best friend, and now all of a sudden here you are want to mock me and act stupid. Don't ask me for shit. I would have warned her right there. And when it comes time for you gonna need something, you gonna want me to help you pay a bill or get a ride somewhere, bitch, don't call me. Do not call me. Mock yourself calling me. That's what you need to do. Yeah, she allows it. But, sitting up there trying to be all passive aggressive and sitting up there crying herself to sleep and shit. The only person who's supposed to be crying in a situation like this is her. You're supposed to read her ass the riot act and tell your husband's family, anybody who don't fucking like it, they can step in and take care of her and pay her bills and give her rides and shit that she be trying to get you to do. So get the fuck out of my face with that busybody ass lying hoe bitch that you married. Don't be trying to be friends with that hoe. You married a stupid bitch. Now the fact that you did that don't got nothing to do with me. Okay, keep that cow away from me. I'm not trying to be her friend. I barely want to be related to her. That's a mistake you made. Shit. Nothing to do with me. That's what I would say. And she gonna be like, we have company. We're gonna have a holiday party. That bitch is not coming to my house. And brother-in-law, if you got a problem with that, you can stay your ass at home too. I don't give a fuck. Cause y'all both look just as good coming as you do going. I don't want your shit ass bullshit in my house. I don't understand this kind of stuff. Where people don't want to speak up. I'm so terrible. I would throw people out of somebody else's house. My cousin and their cousin on their daddy's side. brought his raggedy wife there, and that dog was trying to nip at the kids and stuff. I took that dog and flung that motherfucking dog outside by his collar, and he was trying to, get around to bite. You know how they be doing, wiggling and stuff, trying to bite me and stuff. I'm thinking, let me get outside of these people. I kicked the fuck out that dog and kicked it right into the yard because the little boy who's having a birthday party, he just now turning 6. At the time this happened, he was 3. And his dog went up to it. Little kids, they want to, pet the dog. He reached his hand out, the dog nipped him. So he went screaming and crying and stuff. I almost like, oh no. And nobody told her to bring the fucking dog to the house anyway. It's at Joy's house. I grabbed the dog and threw that dog the fuck out the house. And then Joy was just standing there because she was looking like, oh my God, what the hell is going on here? And the girl was sitting up there like, you threw my dog out. I was like, that's right, I'll throw you out too. Nobody told you to bring that fucking dog here. Especially the dog will sit up here trying to bite the kid. That's the grandson. He was here first. Nobody told you to bring that fucking dog. You need to put that dog in your car or some shit. That fucking dog is going to stay outside. And she's like, it's cold out there. I'm like, well, then you can leave. And so that's what they did. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? I just gives no fucks about stuff like that. And Joy was just sitting there, just like blinking. She's just like, what's going on? But I'm like, we not having that. We not having it. I still can't stand that bitch. She's like, oh, she's nicer now. I'm like, just let me know anytime she's at your house, I won't come. And I mean it. So anyway, let's move on. I love because they always trying to do some shit. When she starts growling and showing teeth and stuff like that, I will kick a beast in a minute. Because, you ain't biting me. That's just the way it's going to be. I will kick your dog. I will kick your cat. I will kick your iguana. I will kick your child. Anything that's going to be trying to bite me is getting kicked. And that's just the way it is. Question number 16, female 18 to 21, Montreal, Canada. I'm fairly new to the dating scene, but I met someone around a month ago on a dating app and messaged every day. Video chatted a lot, and I've met him once. On messaging, he deletes certain texts he has sent, so I can't see what he said. And in person, he was starting a conversation and stopping and saying it doesn't matter. I put this down to nerves. Sometimes when we message, he will say really lovely things and be quite full on at the same time, complimentary and showing interest in a future with me. On the other hand, he says hurtful things. For example, I don't actually really fancy you. I have to force myself to like you. And we don't have a connection. Please delete my number. Don't talk to me. I don't want to message you. Wow, he says that to you? Some of my reaction to the negative message is just questioning why he has been messaging me for so long if he feels that way, and why does he sometimes say lovely things to me if he doesn't like me. He then says he is joking and didn't mean it and that he just likes to mess with my mind. I've told him several times it's not funny and how am I to know when he's being serious. Okay, my God, you just went out talking, talking, talking. Okay, then something happened. He messaged you at 6:30 in the morning. And he said, stop messaging me. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to block you. It's immature. So just don't write to me. I then sent a message asking if he could explain and that I deserve an explanation at least. I said it's fine if he has met someone, but I really like him and I'm feeling upset now. He ignored my message. He has blocked me on Facebook but kept me on WhatsApp and has not opened my recent message. I am left confused and hurt and blame myself for pushing him to the limit. I can't work out if he maybe has a girlfriend he's been hiding from me, or maybe he is scared of falling for me, so he is pushing me away. I don't want to message him again and hound him, but I just really feel a bit lost at the moment. I don't know what I've done to deserve this treatment from someone I've been messaging for a month. So all of this happened in a month, and he tells you, I hate you, don't message me. But then he turns around and says some, cutesy things. And then he says he didn't mean it when he calls you all these names. And he deleted you off of Facebook and WhatsApp. And you just have all this drama and somebody that you're not really dating and you just met and you've been messaging for a month. You know what? You in the 18 to 21 age group and you say you're fairly new to the dating scene, I want you to get off the dating scene because you're not ready. You're not ready yet. You don't have the sense of a bird. I'm going to just tell you that flat out. You have somebody talking to you like this and you continue to converse with him. This man is verbally abusing you and you think that's okay. That's why I tell you, you're not ready to date. You need to get more self-esteem and learn about boundaries and how to what to tell people how they're going to treat you and a whole bunch of other things that you just haven't really mastered yet. Okay? There's people who is 18 who are so street smart and they got their shit together and they are just ready to rock and roll. And then there are people like you who need a couple of more years of development before they're prepared. And that's where you are. Please get off the dating scene. You're not ready. You have to learn what boundaries are, and you have to learn how to tell, not beg men for time and attention. And you have to learn that when someone says something cruel to you, calls you names, belittles and berates you, that that person should be X from your life immediately. No ifs, ands, or buts. Okay, this month that you had with this man texting back and forth should have been about a day before you realized that he was stupid and that there was nothing that's going to be jumping off here that was had any value. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Wait. I ditched one letter too much. Okay. Here we go. Question 17. This is a female in the 18 to 21 age group from Plymouth, Devon, in the UK. I'm 19 years old and have always had very long hair past my waist. My hair was longer in the past down to my butt, but now it's just a little past my waist. It's not very special, it's brown and wavy, but it's important to me and I really the only physical thing I like about myself. I don't really draw attention to it or flaunt it or anything. Sometimes people compliment it, which is kind. However, I've had many others make comments, often several times from the same person, that seem to me like they are annoyed by my hair. A few people have asked me so many questions it felt like I was being interrogated, asking why it was so long, why I didn't cut it, does it go into the toilet, do I sit on it, etc. They ask you that? I would say that I like it is. On a few occasions, it's been called weird, and the people bring it up like they're reminding me I have to cut it like it's a chore that I've forgotten to do. The only thing I can think of, way I can think of to describe their tone. I was a bullied child, and I'm quite adept at picking up subtle undertones in people's voices, especially when they're malicious and annoyed, and I felt that from these people. I thought I was being very sensitive at first, but this would come up with many people across many different friend groups, and even with people I didn't really know. It was like everyone had independently decided to, quote, stage an intervention, like my hair was a problem that needed to be solved. It's not uncommon to have long hair, too. It really felt like a real disproportionate reaction from them to something mundane. I feel like it's an attack on me, not so much my hair. One of my friends said that they were just jealous. That's not my problem as far as I'm concerned. My hair isn't really in their business. Any ideas about what I can say in a non confrontational way because I have anxiety, lol, or even why people are like this? I know this is a very minor problem, but I've just realized how nice it is not to have to deal with it now we're in lockdown. I don't have to see people anymore. Thanks for your help. Well, back to the same thing I told the lady a couple of questions back. People saying, let's go over some of these questions that you say they ask you. Why is it so long? Because I like it long. Or you could say, why is my hair length of my hair any of your concern? Either one of those answers is appropriate. Why I didn't cut it? Because I don't want to cut it. I like it the way that it is. Or why is me cutting my hair any of your concern? Right? Does it go down into the toilet? Does that even deserve an answer? I would just look at them like they had three eyes or something. Do I sit on it? I sit in chairs like everyone else. What are you saying? These are just some of the stupidest shit ever. Um, but mainly, I think my approach to this, if I had really long hair, I would understand people are envious because theirs won't grow. What I would say to you to just shut everybody down is if they start asking any questions about your hair, say, don't ask me about my hair because with anything that's on my head is none of your goddamn business. Okay, that will shut down everybody's questions. Even the ones standing on the sidelines who didn't fix their lips to ask one will heard that savage response and they will shut up. They'll be like, you know. Now, if you had posed this as a what would Deb do question, that's what I would do because I don't want to be bothered with answering your fucking questions about my goddamn hair. What's in my head is none of your fucking business. Okay? And give them that look. Like you got something else to say so I can go all the way to Ignorantville? Okay, right now I just bought a ticket, but I'm not on the train yet. We can turn this around. But you open your mouth one more time. I'm telling you, these people are just too fucking much. We asking somebody some stupid ass questions like that. Yeah, you need to learn how to cuss. Go over this part of the video and practice it until you get the same inflection and tone and this facial expression of like, okay, what? 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 Now you practice all that. And then the next person that comes at you like that, you roll out with your Deb imitation and watch what they do. Did you know what I said? Shit, these goddamn fools. Question number 18, female 26 to 30 from Newport News, Virginia. I had plans with the guy I've been seeing for tomorrow. We've been dating 3 months and I was looking forward to it. Then I got a call from my mom. My oldest brother died suddenly. I sat on this news for a bit. I thought of my plans tomorrow. I just lost interest. I'm more interested in staying home mourning the loss of my brother than seeing my love interest. Well, yeah. I texted him to reschedule and told him why. He said sorry for my loss. He said we can still get together if I just want to talk about it. I said let's do it next weekend. He was like okay and went kind of cold after that. My questions are: is he having a death? Is having a death in the family a reason you would cancel a date, or would you go ahead if you truly felt close to the person? Should I have accepted his offer to just talk? Is it normal to want to mourn alone, or would most people want to mourn with their new love interest? Is my love interest in the right to feel hurt if I cancel for this reason? Am I rejecting his emotional support? Oh my God! Okay, you've been dating 3 months. Your brother died suddenly. You texted the guy to reschedule. That was your first mistake. I know you young people love to text everything. This is a thing to make this personal. You call him and tell him, oh my God, but you have a conversation with the man who's your quote love interest. You don't send him a fucking text about something that crucial. What's wrong with you? If somebody sent me a text that their relative had died, I would think they were lying and playing games. You know why? Because that's one of the number one things that nignogs do is claim that somebody had a death in their family, and that's why this and that, and some the way to put you off as a woman. That's standard game. That's just nigga shit. Okay, and they all do that. Oh, you know, my cousin on my auntie's side, twice removed, that was married to my great grandfather. They died. Okay, do you even know this person that they're making? I mean, they be going way back in the lineage to some, going Turners and over Hill and Dale to find somebody that they claim died. And so, most women will be like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, this and that. I'd be like, what's that got to do with me? It don't even have nothing to do with you. You don't even know who that motherfucker is. It's sitting up there trying to talk about somebody died. Good. That gives you more time to spend with me. Because that's how the game they be. But yeah, you that was the first mistake you made. That was something that warranted a personal touch, a person to person phone call. You sent a text. Okay, so then he says that you can still get together if you just want to talk about it. So he's offering you a shoulder to cry on and emotional support. You said let's just do it next weekend. And you're texting all of this, right? Very impersonal, very, whatever. So he's like, okay. And then he went cold. Now you're wondering why he went cold. You put him off with, I'm not going to see you and I don't want to see you until next week. And you're wondering why he went cold. And all this was by text. The coldest way to communicate that there is on this planet, short of, I don't know, carrier pigeon or something. I'm not really sure what you were expecting here. You want him to be gushing and all over text? Okay, so then you say, is having death in the family a reason you would cancel a date? Or would you go ahead if you truly felt close to the person? I personally would go ahead because that person is going to offer you a shoulder to cry on. It's always better to grieve with somebody than it is to do it by yourself. Should I have accepted his offer to just talk? Yes. Is it normal to want to mourn alone for some people? Would most people want to mourn with their new love interest? Yes. Is my love interest in the right to feel hurt if I cancel for this reason? I'm not sure that he feels hurt. I'm thinking he's just giving you the space that you obviously wanted. You said next week, right? So he's giving you the space to grieve by yourself, which is what you communicated to him that you wanted by saying, no, I'm not getting with you tonight. And no, I don't want to get together with you until a week from now. You wanted space. You wanted time away. You wanted privacy. He's giving that to you. So stop bitching and complaining. You can't have it both ways. Okay? You set this up with your texting ass. So don't get mad at him. That doesn't mean that he's hurt. He's doing what you asked him to do. Okay? You need to think of it because you're kind of old for this. In a 26 to 30 age group and you don't understand this, there's some problems here with you and your understanding. Your emotional intelligence is on the low side. You need to work on that. Question number 19, female 30 to 36 hours out of Arizona. Thank you for running your channel. I learn something new every time I listen. I wish I found you sooner. Maybe I wouldn't feel so behind. I'm 35 and I've been single my whole life. I was always shy around men, and to this day, I'm not a good flirt. Also, I am more of a homebody and I work in a female dominated field where everyone is already married and their single man connections are dried up. I never stressed over being single too much. Everyone always told me just do your thing and the right man will show up. Okay, well, by my mid 20s, I saw that advice wasn't working for me. So I tried the dumpster fire of online dating. I've also tried meetups, being set up on blind dates, and speed dating. I've literally been on over 100 first dates. It doesn't matter if I'm being super picky or too lenient. The results were the same. I'd be meeting men who had a zillion red flags, were unattractive, emotionally unavailable, only wanted eggplant, etc. To be fair, I've met some nice men and went on multiple dates with some, but it never led to a relationship. That's dating, right? Yep. My problem is I get stuck when people, especially dates, ask, why are you single? Or, when was your last relationship? Or, do you want kids? I don't know, Deb. I'm attractive and confident, but never lived my life to be someone's girlfriend, wife, or mother. I've never been in love, so having kids just to have kids was not on my to-do list. And from what I've heard from you, motherhood is not something to be taken on casually with any kind of man anyway. Honestly, these questions trip me up. They're valid, especially with me being in my 30s, and I understand their curiosity. I just don't have a good answer. How would you answer, why are you single, or when was your last relationship? And what do you think I should do to improve my dating opportunities? Thank you, Deb. Dating opportunities, with COVID, there's not too much I can say to that. Everybody's doing the online thing. I'm not a fan, so I don't really have anything to tell you there. Everybody that I've ever met that I dated, I just kind of met them organically, just out and about. This one white guy I went out with a couple of times, really nice and cool and stuff. I met him in a grocery store. He blocked my cart. He blocked my cart. Turned out he was a butcher, and he gave me a great discount, and I got a whole bunch of free meat. I don't know what just you just have to be open to looking, because a lot of men are gonna look, but they're scared. They're scared to approach you, especially, in a certain situation like, you're busy doing something. They don't want to interrupt you, which is a normal thing. But in a situation like that, you would have to flirt with them somewhat, smile at them or ask their opinion about some grocery item or something. I don't know, some bullshit. And just to have an excuse to talk to them. But that works. No, he didn't pay for my groceries, but he gave me a discount, so I got like $100 and something dollars worth of meat for $20. So I didn't want him paying. I don't want to be paying for stuff. I don't want that obligation. That makes me feel weird. I don't like that part. But I liked, this discount he set up for me. I sure did. So let's get back to this question. When people ask you, why are you single? You say, well, that's the same question, right? I could ask you too, right? Because he's single. And let him answer that question. It didn't change the subject. Or if he says, I don't know, then you say, well, I don't know either. See how that works? You don't have to be the first to answer. Just play mind games and word games like men do all the time. It's like, why are you single? Who the fuck knows? What am I, Miss Cleo? Don't ask me stupid questions like that. That's most likely the answer that I would give. But I haven't had anybody ask me that question ever. Okay, so when was your last relationship? Why? Why do you need to know that? Because what happened with him don't have nothing to do with you. So, and I prefer not to talk about the past. I prefer to talk about you, the present, and what the future might hold. I'm not into dredging up the past. And then he's gonna say, "Oh, do you want kids?" No, I hate children. So he won't know if you're serious or not, right? You say something like that and then you laugh. He's not gonna know if you're serious or not. But the main thing is, why do you need to know what if I want children or not? I'm not trying to marry you. I just met you. That's an inappropriate question. Well, maybe that's the answer. That's a bit of a heavy question for two people who barely know each other. Do you even know my favorite color? My middle name. But you want to know if I want to have children? That's a bit heavy. I think that's something we should shelve for later if we decide to get together again. Maybe like date 5 or something. Because just because I want them doesn't mean that I want them with you. That's another answer you could give. Shut that shit down. Because, a lot of dudes start thinking if you want something, that means that you want it with them. You're painting themselves into the picture. So then they could say, oh, well, she wants kids. I don't want kids. Or she doesn't want kids and I do. Whatever. It's just making too much of a commitment because no matter what you might decide you want, that does not mean that you want it with this individual that's sitting across from you asking that stupid ass out of place, inappropriate question. You see my point? So that's a good thing to be, to shut down right away. Well, I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but even if I do, that doesn't mean I want them with you. See what I mean? Then they just sit there looking confused because you use a whole bunch of words. See, I've become a master at this shit. I talk to men just like how niggas talk to women. It's like I just use a whole bunch of words, but do you know anything about whether I want kids or not? At the end of all of them words I use, no, you don't. But it sounds good, and even if gave you something to go away and think about. That's exactly how they do you. And it's like, you study men enough, you can mimic them and play they shit right back on them. And they just be sitting there because they know that you ain't answered their question. You just used a whole bunch of words and ain't said shit that's meaningful and definitive. And that's exactly how men do women. Exactly how. So, you got to practice that. Practice it though before you go on a date so you can just flip they shit right back on them. And you don't really have to answer these questions. I don't know. And about improving your dating opportunities, like I said, you just got to stay alert to when a man's energy he's checking for you. He's showing interest. And if there's, you check him out, your $6 million man scan, and you like what you see, and he's presents himself well, he dresses well, he don't stink, the basics are there. Then you smile, you invite him over, or you walk over there and say, hi, how are you? What your name is. However you want to handle it. Let's move on to question number 20. This is a male, rather, 30 to 36 from Florida. I've been dating this woman. She's 30. I'm 33 for over 1.5 months now. Admittedly, I'm head over heels for her, and she's into me too. Really? Lately, it seems like we're playing a game. I feel like I'm letting her get away with it because I'm so into her. Not sure if she's waiting for me to make the move, but I feel like it's on her to do it. Or maybe I should just break the cycle. Okay, you doing all of this already, I'm losing interest, and you're sounding like a weenie. Okay, but let us move on. Context. We've gone on 3 dates and one weekend trip, all great. It was a bit fast, I'll admit, but we were both super excited. I think we just ran with it. She FaceTimed me after the dates, telling me she missed me, saying how perfect they were. Until that trip, we typically FaceTimed each other out of the blue and would talk for hours. Before that trip, we said we kind of talk about our situation because this distance and we're both very busy. She's a lawyer now and I'm in law school. I started later in life after the service. I have an inside source as well who confirms that she wants to keep trying with me, so maybe that conversation doesn't need to happen anymore. She's had a terrible relationship history with cheaters and abusers and guys who used her. And she says she's never met a man like me who's thoughtful, calm, and put together. Huh. Last week she had a really big case after our trip and some stuff she needed to take care of her. So I gave her space. Sent her a thoughtful little package midweek. Nothing expensive, just some little things and inside jokes. I was hoping that she'd call or FaceTime me at the conclusion of the case or some day after, since it's been a while since we talked, but she's been distant. Yet still keeping me on the hook, telling me she misses me and that she's glad that we're going to be closer soon. We both will be moved closer to each other in Florida in about a month. It's been a week and a half since we FaceTime or called, so I asked her to call me after the weekend just to catch up. And that day she got busy and tired and didn't call me. She apologized. She was exhausted. Now we're just playing this semi-superficial texting game, and I don't know if I should be bothered or if it's so early on it's not a big deal. If I just suck it up, call her out of the blue, and break the cycle. I feel like it's on her to call me. I asked already, and I don't want to come off too eager, but it seems like the ball's in her court to make the move. Any advice? Am I thinking too much? You need to get some nuts. That's what you need to do. You're sitting over there acting like a little bitch. The woman told you she was busy. Okay, any dude, normal dude who's into a woman, knowing the day that she's busy, is going to call her. She had a big case, right? You're going to call her and you're going to say, hey, babe, how'd the case go? Is congratulations in order, or do you need a shoulder to cry on? He gonna make some kind of little joke like that and talk to his lady, but not you. Oh, the ball is in her court. You just like a little bitch. This kind of behavior that you behaving, this what you doing right here, right now, is so unexciting. It's a turn off. It's gonna dry up any juice that she would have to be hot and bothered about you. It's drying up moment by moment. Every moment that you don't call her and sit there playing this little stupid bitch game, is she's getting less and less interested in you. He's just stupid. You better call this woman. You want to keep this going. Okay, you're the man. Did you forget? Act like it. Stop acting like a little scared little bitch. Ugh. Question number 21, female 22 to 29 from Plano, Texas. Back in 2020, January 2020, a guy I went to high school with, let's call him Z, asked me on a date. We follow each other on social media and chatted rarely, but I declined the date and noticed he got in a relationship with E a few weeks later. I kind of forgot about it, besides liking his pictures occasionally. Then in December 2020, I just gotten in a new relationship and he had been dating E for almost a year, constantly posting about how much he loves her. We are all 22, 23 at this point. I thought they were cute and I was happy for them. Z popped up on my quick add-on Snapchat, so I added him without really thinking about it. He immediately messaged me saying something like, hey, how are you? So I chatted back, just small talk. He asked how my new relationship was going, and I said, amazing, except we are long distance and I miss him a lot. Z then asked me a few questions along the lines of, do you ever need help when your boyfriend is away? I knew this was sexual in nature, so I used my camera to take a picture of the message so he wouldn't see that I screenshot. I played stupid and said, it's okay, I have a lot of friends here, so I'm not too lonely. He immediately unfriended me on Snapchat after I sent that reply, and I haven't heard from him since. I felt yucky about it. Told my boyfriend that some guy tried to get me to cheat, and I felt terrible for his girlfriend. But I didn't feel like it was my place to say anything. I figured they'd break up soon if he was trying to cheat. Fast forward to last week, I opened Facebook to see that Z and E just got engaged. I feel so guilty. If I were E, I would want to know that my fiance tried to cheat on me just 3 months before proposing. I have been cheated on before, and no one deserves that. I have the proof that he sent me that message. Do I send it to her? My sister thinks I should tell E. My boyfriend thinks I should stay out of it, although he sees both sides. I don't want to watch them get married knowing that she's making a horrible mistake, but I also don't want to ruin her blissful ignorance. And if I do tell her, what should I even say? You're going to shut your goddamn mouth. That's what you're going to do, because this dude is slick. What you have is a screenshot of him offering assistance since your man is long distance. And you know how this is going to go? You're going to run and tell your friend, and she's going to look at that and say, well, this isn't anything sexual. He was just offering his help. Like, did you need anything moved? Did you need something installed, something put together? Something like that. That's what he meant. That's, if I were to do, that's what I would say. And I would make you look like a fool. I would make you look like you was reading something into it. That's not what I meant at all. That's not what I said, which is true. That's not what he said. That was your interpretation of what he said, but that's not what he said. And so you going running around showing that to people, you're going to make yourself look stupid and like a busybody, nosy hater, just fucking around in people's relationships. You delete that and pretend like it never happened. Since he unfriended you on Snapchat, you don't have nothing to say. What you have, this is not evidence. This is not evidence. And this could be played in a way that would make you look stupid. Soon as I heard what he said, I already knew. And you're like, well, I knew this. You don't know nothing. That's what you thought, and that probably is what he meant. But that's not what he said. So what you have in writing, it can be interpreted in 900 different ways, and 889 of them, 899 of them are non-sexual. You get where I'm going with this? You delete this shit and forget it never ever happened. And don't you say a word to nobody about what you think or what you feel, because it's not based in fact. It's based on, like I said, your interpretation. And he did that on purpose because he's slicker than you. He is slicker than you. hmm You answered him right, though. You did good with your answer, but that's where it should have stopped. You screenshotting and doing all the shit you doing too much. Stay out of their relationship. You don't know nothing about it. Delete that quote evidence you have and stop talking about it. Okay, right now it's over. It's done. Question 22, female, 40 to 46 from Calgary, Canada. My husband may be gay after all. We are not as intimate anymore, and he sleeps on the couch on his days off. One day I got up to check on him and I found stuff, and stuff is in caps and bold and italics, on his computer. You know what that means. I asked him about it and he dismissed it. Things were normal as I forgot it happened as time went by. Recently, I checked his phone and I saw another video. He said it was spam, but I have doubts. He said he's a straight man, but I have doubts. More recently, he is obsessed with Korean movies. He enjoys watching these young Korean men. I told him it's inappropriate for a 40 something to watch these shows, but that has not stopped him. He has other issues as well, like ADHD, mild Tourette's, OCD, and such. Okay, so she got a crazy fool. I knew of these conditions when we first met, and I have been able to help him through it all. He used to be shy and reserved regarding his disorders. So one day I told him of all the people who also suffer from these conditions and live almost normal. That helped him break out of his shell. I tried to build him up, and he often even ends up getting his dream job. At this point, I want him to leave and give me some time to figure things out. He needs help or therapy. I feel stuck and afraid. I am a hardworking, attractive woman and I can find someone else, but I have mild lupus and I am waiting for a new kidney. So my options are minimal and I need all the help I can get. On top, I have to deal with stress at work. It is all just too much to handle. What did I get myself into? Once I leave him, I will not ever date again. Maybe he was always deep down a strange person. I am so ashamed. Of course he was. Okay, first let's rewind here. Let's go back to the beginning. Okay, so you got with a man that has ADHD, Tourette's, OCD, and such. Okay, so he got all kind of afflictions going on. And you knew of all them things and you got with him anyway. See, I done told you, I don't do them afflictions. I don't do it. I saw a dude on Bart one time that had Tourette's. And you see it depicted in movies, but I never really saw a real live person with Tourette's until this day, and I could not stop laughing. I had to go to another train because I could not stop laughing. It was like, I don't know. It was just the way he was just sitting there, and all of a sudden he was like, fuck! Fuck! God damn it! Fuck! And everybody was looking at him, right? And then he started making like bird sounds and stuff. And he was just sitting there looking like regular. I mean, he was looking regular in between these little outbursts and stuff. So I'm looking at him, waiting for the next one. And I didn't have the presence of mind at that time to take out my phone and record it. But I was just looking at him like, this is some amazing shit. And he's just sitting there. I'm telling you, I was screaming. And everybody, all the white people was looking all horrified and stuff. Niggas laughing our asses off. So our sense of humor is just different. That's all I can say. Because we was laughing our asses off, and the men was like, ah, pointing at them and stuff, imitating them and everything. I wasn't going that far. But I was like, this is some crazy shit. Fuck, fuck, fuck. I don't know, but anyway, so I'm imagining you with something that's doing all of that, and you dating it. No can do, no can do. That's what it looked like, Diana. I'm telling you, girl. I was like, I couldn't stop laughing, so I had to get up and go to the next. You go to the little sliding door, and I went to the next train so I could like recover because I couldn't be around dude. I would have died laughing. So, lady, anyway, that side story, but y'all got too much going on, and your husband like to watch the little boy love movies and little Korean movies and stuff like that, and he likes to watch them kind of videos and everything like that, and you already know what the deal is. I'm like, what are you staying there for? You talking about you need all the help you can get. You do realize that your insurance company will pay for somebody to come into the house and help you, right? Social services, you can get like a little part-time person to come and they help cover most of the costs. And then, they help you bathe and they help you do stuff and clean up and might make you a meal or something like that when you're recovering from your kidney transplant and all this kind of stuff like that. So, this is not an impossible situation. You don't have to be bothered with this. Is just going to stress you out more. Go to social services wherever you are. Where did you say you are? Oh, in Canada. And Calgary, Canada, and see what kind of assistance programs they offer, sliding scales or whatever, and get your ducks lined up in a row for a transplant patient and see what you can get, what services you can get. And then get rid of this fool. This is just like, oof, my God. But the Tourette's, honey, that lost me. I can't do it. I can't do it. And OCD, somebody come up in my house with OCD, they would go crazy. Question 23, female 30 to 39 from Des Moines, Iowa. I've been married for 11 years and have 3 children under the age of 6. Out of the blue, my first love, who I dated for 7 years while in high school and college, and who was my first, called me to find out whether I'd be attending our class in union, which was to take place a few days later. We hadn't been in contact with each other for 12 years at the time I received his phone call. I talked with him for about 45 minutes while my husband was in the next room watching our 3 kids. After the call ended, my husband asked me who it was on the phone. I told him. My husband knew that I had dated this man for 7 years and that he was my first. My husband told me that he thought it was inappropriate that I had taken my ex-boyfriend's call at all, let alone speaking with him for 45 minutes. My husband also said it's likely that he had an agenda by calling me out of the blue like that. I told my husband that he was overreacting, that it was perfectly normal for me to talk with him for 45 minutes. I hadn't heard from him more than a decade, and I strongly need to know how he was doing. I also told my husband I had no feelings whatsoever for my ex and that we were just friendly. And I told my husband that he was way off base by thinking that he had called because he had an agenda, because that's not the type of person he is. Is my husband overreacting to this whole thing? Well, I think he is, but I'm not your husband. See, my thing is this. Everything that you said is true. And if you were trying to hide something, you wouldn't have been chit chatting so freely with him right in the next room where he could hear everything. Right? And no matter if this man had an agenda or not, what you're supposed to tell your husband, he could have anything he wants to. But if I'm married to you, I love you, and you're supposed to trust me. Since you are coming to me like this, now there's some doubt. Where's this coming from? Because I don't care what he might have in the back of his mind, it's irrelevant because I wouldn't let it happen anyway. And you don't seem to have that kind of confidence in me. That's why you coming at me like this, and this is a problem. That's how I would flip that shit around on him. Me coming there trying to make it seem like I'm doing something wrong. I'm on the phone talking to somebody I haven't seen in 12 years, and you think I'm just gonna get off the phone because you stressing out about a conversation on the telephone? You gonna go to the reunion with me? You'll get to meet him. What is the problem here? So see, this kind of stuff I don't do jealous. I don't do jealous. In this kind of stuff right here, these kind of activities and words directed at me, would make me hate you. Hate I mean, like love would dry up because the second I feel like you can't trust me and you don't have any confidence in my ability to protect our relationship and my marriage and thus your heart, you don't have that kind of confidence in me and you think I'm just from a phone call, I'm gonna just be going running to jump and fuck somebody like that. See, our marriage would have a big chink in it in its armor because of that. That is a making a bold statement about how you think about me and the woman that I am, and it's not good. Okay. So, this kind of thing, this is why I don't do jealous. So, when men get like this and jealous, I be out. I lose interest real quick. It's like I just get, um, I don't know. I just, something just turns off for me and I lose interest in him like immediately. And I don't want to be bothered. I don't do jealous men. So that's what I would, suggest you think about and talk about with your husband. Where this is coming from and that how this transmutes into how he feels about you. See, that's where the problem is. Question 24, female 30 to 36 from Yonkers, New York. I had someone tell me recently that women who are too educated will have a hard time finding a partner. Men will either be too intimidated to date someone who might appear smarter or more educated than them, or she would have to find someone much older and already successful. Interested in hearing perspectives of the squad on this. I'm a 34-year-old black woman with a PhD, and I have definitely had moments when talking to someone who says something along the lines of, "Oh, wow, you're super smart," or "You're definitely smarter than me, then," or something along the lines that imply they feel I'm out of their league, and then they stop talking to me. I know there are men out here who don't give a fuck about whether or not their partner is more educated or not, some who love it and some who do care about these things. Ultimately, it's still about being able to form a connection, be able to talk to your partner in a way that still makes you feel like equals. I think that as long as you're able to have a conversation with them, it shouldn't matter if one person's more educated or successful than the other. What's your take on this? Yeah, that's your pie in the sky fucking fantasy. That's just not true. Let me tell you this, unless you got a man who's extremely bright and well read and can keep up with you conversationally and intellectually, your relationship would be doomed because he would always feel stupid compared to you, and it would be true, he would be. Okay? There's no way around that. You know way more, you've read way more, you understand way more than him. Okay? So you have this fantasy that you could get to somebody with a GED or some shit and that it should be okay because you have good conversation. It's not going to be okay. And it's going to come out a lot when you have children and you try to have your professional colleagues, parties and stuff and you bring your little GED having, high school diploma having, blue collar husband around and he don't have nothing to talk about with these people who are, intellectual giants and have doctorates and stuff. He's not going to have anything in common with them and he's not going to have nothing to talk about with them. And it's going to bomb terribly and everyone's going to look at you stupid. It's going to cost you it's going to cost you in your career because you won't be able to socialize in the social circle that you're supposed to be in because you're dragging along dead weight. Now I know I hate to say this because I know people are like, well, it's not like that. Love, but love don't mean a goddamn thing. Okay, when it's people's feelings and careers and egos involved, love is not enough to fix all of that. What you need to do is get you a man who's on your level. Okay? On your level, lady. Stop fishing in the mud for a man. It's not gonna work. They have more sense about to know that than you do. You don't have to be a doctorate, but if it's somebody with some kind of, more advanced degree, at least a master's or something, so that he understands your educational struggle, with how hard it was for you to work to get to where you are and has that appreciation for formal education that you have. People who don't often eschew that and then will be like, well, I don't understand what's the big deal. That piece of paper don't mean nothing, blah, blah, blah. Whereas to you, it means a lot because you busted your ass to get it. So here's this person basically putting down something that you just invested 12 years of your life in to get. Right? And he's like, well, it don't mean nothing because how are you supposed to defend that? So you're constantly on the defensive about something that has great meaning to you, and that is the source of who you are and your drive and your ambition, your career path, and everything else. I want you to wake up and understand this. I know there's a lot of this pushing people on especially on African American women, that they should marry for love, and don't look for a man on your level, and you should date down and all this kind of stuff. It's about the love and all this old shit here. Don't pay any attention to that. What you need to do is broaden your scope. Okay, you're a PhD. You're gonna open the door and you're gonna date white PhDs and other MBAs and Asians and Indians and whoever comes your way that you vibe with on an intellectual level. That's what you gonna do. And get off of this nothing but a black man thing. Because, the number of them, there's some that's PhDs and stuff like that, but, and most of them are already married. You in your mid 30s, they're already married, got kids and everything else. So start looking and, like I said, broaden your horizons. Let's move on. We got our last question. The last question of the day. Female, 30 to 36, Las Cruces, New Mexico. I don't know how to say that. My fiance, quote, Aaron, got a dog against my wishes and refuses to give it away. That dog has made it his job to destroy the house and the furniture. Aaron hasn't had him trained and the new carpet is ruined. Aaron is mad because he takes the dog to daycare 3 days a week and the extra expense bothers him. On the other 2 days when he's at work, he assumes my daughter will take care of the dog because she sort of likes the dog. I made it perfectly clear I don't want the dog or any other pets for that matter, and I won't be responsible for the dog or have anything to do with it. This has been going on for almost a year now, and I'm resentful as hell for being forced to put up with the dog I didn't want in the first place. I told him repeatedly to not bring a dog into the house before he got it, and he ignored me. I'm tired of asking him to give away the dog. I'm tired of how smelling like dog. I'm tired of dog hair everywhere. And most of all, I'm tired of my fiance forcing me to deal with the dog. He did admit it was a dick move to get the dog, and he has apologized, but the dog is still in the house, and I can't forgive him for it. He made it a point to remind me that I live in his house, and he pays for everything. I am sick and injured and have no income. I have nowhere else to go, and I feel like I'm being abused by having everything thrown in my face and constantly reminded that I live in his house. I don't know what to do, and I'm at my wits' end. Please help me. Yes, again, another one who needs to reach out to social services and see what kind of things you can get as a single parent who is disabled. Okay? There has to be some kind of housing assistance. Where are you again? Shit, I keep forgetting where people are. Oh, you're in Las Cruces, New Mexico. I don't know what they have in New Mexico, but you need to investigate it. They might even have some kind of shelter you and your daughter could go to, and they don't have pets in them, and you stay there temporarily till they find you permanent housing or whatever. But you would be out of dude's house, and you would be somewhere where living independently, and you don't have to be bothered with his dog. So, my thing is like if it's destroying the carpet that he bought and it's destroying the furniture that he bought, why is that a problem for you? I wouldn't give a fuck. It's not my house. It's not my shit. You doggy, here, chew this too. Here, give him his favorite leather shoes. They'll just have a good field day with that little doggy. And here's his watch. Eating on that. And here, why don't you swallow one of these cufflinks? And then here's his favorite suit. Chew on that, gnaw on it, and let the dog and pull on that. So he has some stuff that he's suffering. Because right now it sounds like he ain't really too concerned about it. But it has to be some shit that's his favorite stuff. Just throw it down there and let the dog have a little taste of that too. Since he thinks everything is so fucking funny. That's what I would do. I'd be like, oh, that dog, I don't know what happened. He must have leaped up in the closet and got your $1,500 suit. I don't know how that happened. But whoa, look at all them holes in it. And smells like dog pee. Ew. What you gonna do? A couple of things like that, he'll let that dog go. But, I'm just telling you, I don't get mad, I get even. It's like, oh, is that what we doing? Your shit about to be fucked up, sir. Just be ready. So, that is the conclusion of tonight's show. What the Fuck Tuesday, the craziest advice show on these internets. We got another show coming up on Friday night, same time, 6 p.m. Pacific time, Flummoxed Friday. Flummoxed Friday. And I'm still trying to get my act together to make I want to start on that 12 video series. I just been so busy that I haven't really had time to start it yet. But I haven't, some stuff outlined. Maybe this weekend I'll get to record one. And in case you don't know what I'm talking about, it's the 12 video series. It's the 12-step program for how not to be a stupid woman. Basically, that's what it is. And I have, my 12-step program. Of course, it's going to be based on, Alan, I was Alcoholics and Not, the 12-step programs how they had a little rules, to turn your life over to this and that. I'm gonna switch that shit up. But I'm gonna have 12. I have my 12 guidelines for how you need to live to avoid being a stupid broad. And so that's what we're going to do. Okay. But I want to thank everybody for coming and sitting in with me tonight. Thank you, Shay, for always being here. And all my usual and customary suspects. Everybody's here. We always have a good time together. So I appreciate you coming through. Thanks for the chat donations and all my Patreon subscribers and the people that send Cash App tips. I appreciate those too. We see you guys on Friday night. Be here or be square.